Okay, we're gonna have to start up a new sub-series for PlayStation Slop or something because I refuse to blow a full episode on this. I'm thinking something like... The Pizza Delivery Boy Who Saved the World. Now, longtime viewers of my channel probably look at this and think, goofy title, young silly people on the preview image, BMC Studio has returned! And no, they're called Cumulator Films now, and that'll come later. But I think that Elaine told me that today's game comes to us from BMC fans. Yes, the people that brought us AIDS Moji, Dabman, and There's a Genie in My Szechuan Sauce. Take those and do a fan's tribute to them. This is gonna be a disaster. You can enter in a name, so first name Kenny, last name Balzich. So we are introduced to our titular hero Kenny Balzich as he talks to the audience. He's been a pizza delivery driver for 9 months and he's not particularly happy about it. He tells us this as he recalls all the pain-in-the-ass customers that he has to deal with on a daily basis. You serve pineapple pizza? I'm never coming back here again! Ha. Ha. The real pain in the ass at Kenny's job is his boss, Mr. Ami, a cheapskate who can't go 2 minutes without yelling for his balls itch. For your first choice of the game, he's yelling at Kenny because he had some late deliveries, and if you elect to respond by explaining they were late because he's too cheap to hire another pizza chef, Kenny ignores you and the game proceeds like normal. Good to see literally the first choice of the game, establishing that my choices don't do shit. We pick up on Kenny's typical workday as he goes to the computer to pick a delivery. Do you want Andrews Street or Constitution Avenue? Well, Andrews has been waiting longer, but let's pick the stupid thing. Constitution's order isn't ready yet. I'll take Andrews Street. Well, then why did you bring it up? Kenny delivers to a lady named Finley, who somehow remains thin as a rail on a diet of daily pepperoni pizzas. And am I the only one who thinks this girl looks like she's still in high school, while Kenny stated to be in his late 20s? And there are dialogue options to try and flirt with this girl as the game goes on, which gives me all kinds of bad vibes about the balls itch. It's not just Kenny either. All his co-workers talk about how hot they think this girl is. Like, this place is gonna be raided one day, and you better hope your search history is wiped when it does. Back to the computer. Do you want to deliver to Constitution, Lodge Lane, or, well, the information for 12th Street is covered up by the dialogue options. Let's do Constitution. The pizza's not ready, so we'll deliver to Lodge Lane. Okay, what gives? What happens if we try 12th Street? The only pizza that's done is for Lodge Lane. Why do you keep asking my opinion if you're going to ignore everything I say? Most interactive narrative games need to limit the amount of branching story paths due to budget concerns or the amount of space the game takes up. But look at this! The entire game is made of text blocks underneath static cardboard cutouts of people pasted over stock photographs. The entire game is half a single gigabyte. Budget and size clearly weren't an issue since you got smoked on both by Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. If your game is this cheap and you still couldn't be arsed to write out branching narratives, then I'm sorry. You just didn't want to make an actual video game. After debating whether or not to save the order for a different delivery driver, Kenny heads out, stops to complain that the house number isn't visible, and the place has an angry dog out front. You have to pick an option to get past the dog, whose name is Chomper, except literally no matter what you pick, the dog leaves you alone, and the delivery is for a weirdo who asks you for cats. The other delivery guy's blowing off work to go to a party, meaning it didn't matter if I saved the order for him or not. Kenny asks you if you should report the guy. I say yes, and he doesn't. The boss chews him out, and the Constitution order still isn't ready because the pizza chef is whining there's no one else to make the pizza for her. All while going, what are you gonna do, fire me? And you deliver the pizza only to deal with a bratty kid, get made fun of for having a crappy job, and get no tip. Then he comes back and gets chewed out by his boss for everyone else's screw-ups again! I've been playing the game for 12 minutes. The game has asked me something like 10 questions, ignored my responses to all of them, and done nothing but shove a series of characters into my face that I want to defenestrate. Please, I beg you, do something that doesn't suck! That night, Kenny runs into someone claiming to be himself from 30 years in the future. Dude either ages remarkably well, or he just got a haircut and shaved before photography. The annoying thing is, whenever someone is talking to Kenny, his picture just appears in the corner to where this layout looks like he's the only one speaking. In a normal game, Kenny's face would only appear if he's talking back, or Kenny would just be in the same frame as the other person in the conversation. But then again, if this were a normal game, I'd be doing something. I'm just clicking through screens here, like needing a player is just a formality. Kenny goes home, whereupon we begin Chapter 2. And now that we've got all the characters and setting introductions out of the way, what does Day 2 have in store for us? Well, Kenny gets yelled at by his boss because someone messed up his schedule, gets yelled at again for spending 2 seconds talking to a customer, gets his tip stolen, deals with annoying customers who argue instead of ordering so that a pizza gets ruined, deals with yet a third coworker who doesn't work, deals with an order that's not filled out right, and gets yelled at again for crap's sake! Is this entire game just an outlet for someone who actually delivers pizzas to vent about how much they hate their job?
I don't want to work here anymore!
The game's menu description calls it semi-autobiographical, and the credits mention special thanks to the lead actor's old boss and co-workers. I just clicked through almost 10 minutes of Kenny just getting screwed by every single person he interacts with on a daily basis. And for something that seems like it's trying to be a comedy game, it has yet to tell a single joke! Not unless you think teenagers being whiny, aloof dipshits is the funniest damn thing on earth. I bought a video game, not a platform to listen to you complain about your job. Apply somewhere else and shut up! Future Kenny comes back and explains why he's here. 30 years in the future, your boss gets arrested for stealing from the employees, and they offer to send employees to the future where the restaurant will actually have some money to pay them back, but Kenny screwed it up and went to the past. Okay, so the game is finally getting stupid. It wasn't funny, but it was stupid. I guess it just never occurred to the people making The Pizza Delivery Boy Who Saved the World that it shouldn't be laboriously explaining its plot like we're taking it seriously. Because if you really want me to root for Balls Itch, you've got problems. End of Chapter 2. Maybe something will finally happen. Future Kenny stays at Kenny's house, and Kenny shows him an app game. It's called Trojan War, and it's got this epic trailer with awesome warrior graphics, but then it's a shitty farming game that does nothing for days on end unless you pay more money. Oh, wow. Commentary. That's over a decade old because you just described Dungeon Keeper Mobile and Star Trek Trexels. And that brings up a horrifying question. Did this game get stuck in development hell? Like, did this slideshow of still images and utterly non-branching pathways take actual years to be released? Is that why the 2022 release doesn't mention the pandemic at all? Is that why there are somehow 4 different companies that are listed when the game boots up? Like, this is all weird, right? I'd say the history of the game's development would be more interesting than the game itself, but grass growing would be more interesting at this rate. And thus begins a fresh day of the living hell that is Kenny's existence. Deliver to the hot girl and try to flirt again, get bitched out by his boss again, bitch about his job delivering to a house with busted numbers, bitch about a customer not listening for the door, bitch about an employee screwing up the address, bitch about delivering to an apartment complex where nobody marked the right building, bitch about not getting enough tips to order some food, bitch about coworkers making fun of him, bitch about a coworker playing on his phone all night and stealing his orders, bitch about nobody else in the store working because the boss left to go get dinner, bitch about delivering to a college with no direction where to go! Okay, you know what? You shouldn't be charging people money for this game. You should be paying people to play this game. You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you go to a therapist's office and you talk about all the things that are bothering you in your life, that therapist charges you by the hour. And I have been listening to you complain and bitch and moan about your life for a full hour. You know what that means? I'll tell you what it means. You owe me money! But finally, and I know you'll be shocked by this, we get some actual gameplay. I know, some game snuck into this video game. You see, Kenny has to slice some pizzas, and you have to tell him how to slice them. Like whether the pizza with 4 slices should be cut into halves or thirds. A remedial pop quiz on basic fractions is what passes for gameplay on this actual PlayStation 4 and 5 exclusive release! And seriously, what kind of barely edible shit pizza does this restaurant serve? Because those pizzas look disgusting! I'm starting to think that Kenny gets bad tips because he's delivering dog crap to people's homes. See, now that is a good looking pizza. Cheese is all uniformly melted, it's not dried or crunched on or anything. Toppings nice and uniform going out to the edge. Now that is something you just want to reach out and eat just right now. And hold on for a second. What happened to this girl's hand? All of her fingers are blurred together like they're fused into a penguin flipper and nobody noticed during photography. Now that's the seal of quality on a game clearly made for about $10. Anyway, future Kenny wants to use his phone's historical data to make loads of money off the stock market, and he has to do it in 7 months before the internet is destroyed. Apparently the entire internet is down for 10 months due to an anarchist group called Big Bite stopping all planes and shutting down all hospitals. Although somehow the video game industry keeps chugging along, of course it does when you make games out of Photoshop. But both Kennys just shrug off the whole imminent collapse of society thing because they want to buy the pizza store and fire their boss. Shoot for the friggin' stars, guys. Far be it for me to judge the balls itch. Another day, another round of Kenny bitching about his job. Nobody ordered toppings. Someone left the anchovies out without an expiration date. A kid tries to swindle him out of the delivery fee. And apparently it's a thing for people to just come in, declare they hate pizza, demand you make a weird mystery pizza, and then storm out when you don't make the pizza they wanted. I'm starting to think that Kenny's real problem is there's something in the water making everybody brain damaged. Kenny loses his mind over a large tip, some random lady thinks he's hitting on her, and Kenny gets fired for inappropriate behavior. Considering Kenny got fired over harassment in a game declared to be semi-autobiographical, I wonder how much we're not being told about the balls itch. But finally, the clouds are parting and I don't have to listen to any more of Kenny's complaining about how much he hates his job. So, what happens next? Well, Kenny has to finish out his last day so that he can yell at the customers how much he hates his job. Oh, my balls itch! Kenny delivers one last time to the pretty girl and gets a phone call from Big Bite. They've kidnapped future Kenny, somehow, and they want his future phone for their nefarious plan. And wouldn't you know it, Big Bite yells at his dog, Chomper, meaning he's the same guy we've delivered pizza to twice earlier on in the game. What convenience! Just think, if the bad guy were any of the hundreds to thousands of people nearby who hadn't ordered pizza in the last few days, or one of the billions of people who don't even live next to Kenny, the world would be screwed. With Hot Girl in tow, it is now time for Kenny to become the pizza delivery boy who saved the world. And it only took about an hour of game time before plot happened. Chapter 6, Rescuing Our Future Self and Saving the World Because We're Awesome. Also, we just got fired, so it's not like we have anything else to do. Aha. You almost told a joke. First time for everything! Kenny infiltrates the villain's lair by offering the dude a free pizza, gets inside by asking to use the bathroom, blows his cover by constantly talking to his earpiece, and gets caught immediately. You might think that I suck at the game, but there is not a single narrative choice through this section. The sucking of balls itch is entirely pre-scripted. But Kenny is warped out of the hot zone because it turns out that hot girl is actually a time cop. What are the chances? Seriously, what are the friggin' chances that the one person sent back in time to stop criminal shenanigans exclusively interacts with the one person who knows a time traveler? Hot girl tries going in next, but her cover gets blown because Kenny keeps yelling over the communicator. Balzich can't do a single thing right! A guard comes out and holy shit, you actually have some input on the climax! Do you get around the guard by offering pizza or by time traveling again? Not being a stupid person, I guess we'll time travel again since apparently we get infinite tries at stopping the bad guys. Kenny pieces together the keypad code from their multiple failed break-ins and frees future Kenny, who blows up the entire bad guy's secret lab from off-screen. That's it. Future Kenny just saved the world, and the sum total of your input was a whole 2 choices, which even if you're blind, were a 50-50 shot apiece. Even for a game called The Pizza Delivery Boy Who Saved the World, I must admit, I'm left wanting. Oh, and Hot Girl, it turns out, is actually Kenny's daughter. Yep, you've been trying to flirt with your own offspring the entire game. Just focus on the secure knowledge that you will propagate Balzich for another generation. So the future Balziches leave, and after the credits, Kenny returns to the pizza place to meet the future Mrs. Balzich and a talking cat that the bad guy made for some reason. The game kind of suggests this is only one of a few endings, but it's not. That's the end, and I'm out of here in a minute. To give the game its due diligence, I ran back through to see if any of your choices actually do anything. Spoiler alert, they don't. Every single story option produces pretty much exactly the same result as the other. Every time the game asks you which pizza to deliver, you get railroaded into doing all of them anyway. Try to leave a delivery for a coworker, the boss will force you to take it. It doesn't matter which building you pick at the apartment complex, it will always be the third one you try. You can even screw up the pizza cutting minigame, and the game will shrug and move on. Junior Balzich will remember a prior interaction if you stay quiet during your initial meeting, but that is literally the one time all game that a choice alters a single thing down the line. Although the dude who hates pizza will actually be happy if you fix him an anchovy pizza. Just to add one positive glimmer of light to the deep dark hole that is Kenny's existence. The cool part though is that the game has a back button to see the negligible effect a choice will have for yourself right away, as well as a skip button to fast forward through any dialogue you've already seen. Which is 98% of it after a single playthrough. Seriously, just look at how much the game skips until you hit another game choice. It's ridiculous! Although I could see this becoming the next speedrunning meta. That community has no standards. Try to call the cops for the climax, Kenny will realize they can't. Lie to little Balzich about your future self, and she just rolls with it. There are exactly 2 decisions that actually impact the game, and they're both in the climax. If you try to bribe the guard with pizza or leave future Kenny alone, you die and you get this rather surreal game over screen. A small price to pay to rid the world of Balzich. I now have a platinum trophy for this game. Great. The Pizza Delivery Boy Who Saved the World barely counts as a game. At best, it's a slideshow where the player just had to keep clicking buttons to advance the shittin' thing. Let me put it this way. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties actually shot on location, actually had voice acting, had more game over scenarios, featured multiple endings, and kind of had a purpose. This is, objectively, worse than one of the worst games ever made. And Sony has such ridiculously low standards for PlayStation Store titles that they let it onto their flagship modern consoles to share the same oxygen as Astrobot. And how many other crap set games does Sony allow to clog their systems? Like and subscribe, and we'll dig into more in the future.